statement right there from the dead man. Oh, hell.
In professional wrestling, kayfabe, the art of staying in character, is a sacred tradition. For decades, WWE superstars have blurred the line between fiction and reality, immersing fans in dramatic storylines, fierce rivalries, and larger-than-life personas. However, there are rare moments when the illusion shatters and wrestlers are forced to break character in front of a live audience. Whether due to real-life injuries, shocking accidents, emotional tributes, or unpredictable fan behaviour, these instances pull back the curtain on the world of sports entertainment. From Raven's controversial crucifixion angle to Triple H protecting Stone Cold from a fan attack, these are the moments when reality hit harder than any scripted punch, and the performers behind the personas showed their true selves. The moment that crossed the line, Raven and Sandman. In 1996, the gritty and unpredictable world of ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling, was at its height. The promotion was known for pushing boundaries, violent, edgy, and, at times, disturbing storylines that kept fans on the edge of their seats. Yet there was one moment during the high-incident event that went so far it caused a collective gasp. Raven, always the master manipulator, was involved in a bitter feud with the Sandman. At the height of their personal rivalry, Raven brainwashed Sandman's young son, turning him against his own father. But it was what happened next that crossed a line many found unthinkable. Raven and his henchmen took things to an extreme, performing a shocking and disturbing act. They crucified the Sandman. The scene, which involved a crown of barbed wire being placed on his head, was nothing short of horrifying. As the scene unfolded, the atmosphere in the arena shifted dramatically. The fans, typically so vocal, fell silent, many visibly disturbed by the overt religious imagery. The execution of the stunt was far too close to the crucifixion of Jesus Christ for many to ignore. The backstage reaction was no less intense, with several wrestlers angered by the decision. Triple H protecting a rival from an intruder. Even the most ruthless characters in wrestling know when to break from their scripted roles, especially when personal safety is involved. In 1998, at a non-televised event, Triple H found himself facing off against one of the most famous stars of the time, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Austin had just delivered a Stone Cold Stunner to Triple H, but before the match could proceed, a fan rushed the ring. The intruder was clearly intent on doing something malicious, and Triple H, despite his notorious heel character, immediately turned his attention to the intruder. Without a second thought, Triple H protected Austin, no-selling the stunner and leaping into action. He immediately took control of the situation, teaching the fan a lesson they would never forget. Once security had the situation under control, Triple H seamlessly returned to his role, quickly returning to the match and regaining his villainous persona. But for a moment, his commitment to his character took a back seat to his instinct to protect his fellow wrestler. The Undertaker. Breaking character for the Big Show and Flames. The Undertaker, renowned for his stoic presence and near immovable character, is perhaps one of the most respected figures in wrestling. Known for rarely breaking character, he usually maintained the cold, dead-eyed persona of the dead man, no matter the situation. But there were moments that pushed him to break from his usually flawless facade. One such moment occurred during the 2010 Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. The Undertaker's entrance was one of the most dramatic in WWE history. He emerged from flames, an iconic image that signified his supernatural powers. But something went horribly wrong. The flames engulfed him unexpectedly, and instead of continuing his theatrical entrance, The Undertaker, in a rare moment of panic, ran to the ring. His calm and composed demeanour vanished, replaced by pure urgency as he sought to avoid a dangerous situation. A more humorous moment occurred shortly after the Big Show's WWE debut in 1999. The two men had formed a tag team, with The Undertaker serving as a mentor to the Big Show behind the scenes. The tragedy of Owen Hart. A rare emotional moment for The Undertaker wrestling is known for its larger-than-life personas, but the real world occasionally intrudes, reminding everyone of the risks that come with the business. In 1999, the wrestling world was shaken to its core when Owen Hart tragically passed away after a stunt went horribly wrong during the Over the Edge pay-per-view event. Despite the shock and devastation that followed, the show went on, and The Undertaker, along with many others, had to perform in what would be one of the most emotionally charged events in wrestling history. As the night unfolded, fans could see the normally stoic Undertaker visibly shaken and emotional, preparing for his match. His raw emotions bled through the facade of his character, showing a side of The Undertaker that fans rarely saw. The situation not only highlighted the Bond wrestlers' share, but also underscored the heavy toll such tragedies take on those in the business. Raven's real concern for Villano 4 wrestling is often about improvisation and split-second decision-making, especially when things go wrong. In 1999, during a match on WCW Nitro, Raven and Kanyon faced off against the Mexican luchador Villano 4. The match was going smoothly until an unfortunate botch occurred. Villano 4 was meant to execute a powerbomb neckbreaker combination, but the timing was off, and he landed directly on the back of his head. In an instant, Raven broke character. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, he immediately stopped the match, staying at Villano's side to ensure he remained stable until medical personnel arrived. The concern was real, not scripted. Raven's quick thinking likely saved Villano Afir's career and possibly his life. Thankfully, Villano IV made a full recovery and returned to the ring 2 years later, but this moment of care and concern, completely outside the storyline, showed the humanity behind the wrestlers' characters. The Jeff Hardy incident, a sobering moment for TNA. One of the most infamous instances of a wrestler breaking character came at TNA's Victory Road pay-per-view in 2011. Jeff Hardy, one of wrestling's most beloved figures, appeared in a main event match against Sting, visibly intoxicated. Hardy stumbled to the ring, clearly in no condition to compete. Backstage personnel, who hadn't seen Hardy until just before his entrance, were unaware of his condition and thus couldn't stop the match from going forward. The situation was dire. As the match unfolded, it was clear that Hardy wasn't in control of his actions. In an unprecedented move, TNA executive producer Eric Bischoff came out to the ring and, while pretending it was part of the show, communicated with Hardy and Sting, advising them of a new plan. Breaking character in the ring. Personal tension between Christy Hem and Rachel Ellering. There are times when personal differences or frustrations between wrestlers can spill over into the ring. In 2015, a match between Rachel Ellering and Christy Hemmer became infamous for the tension that developed during the contest. The match started poorly, with moves looking sloppy and awkward. As the match wore on, it became increasingly clear that something was wrong. Ellering and Hemmer were no longer wrestling. They were simply staring at each other. Suddenly, in a break from the usual scripted action, Ellering demanded that Hemmer pin her. The match ended abruptly, with Ellering storming off, leaving the audience stunned by the sudden turn of events. Edge. Breaking character to reveal WWE's truth. In 2011, Edge, one of the most successful and beloved wrestlers in WWE history, was forced to break character during a live Raw segment. Having just successfully defended his World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 27, Edge made a shocking announcement that would change everything. He had to retire due to a serious neck injury. In that emotional moment, Edge revealed the truth about the physical toll of professional wrestling. "We do this because we love it, but it hurts. It's not just smoke and mirrors," he said, his voice filled with emotion. The crowd, who had spent years cheering for him, saw him in a new light as he dropped the persona of the rated-R superstar to speak from the heart. The real moments behind the characters. While wrestling is built on carefully crafted characters and scripted drama, it's the real moments that stand out. Whether it's the tragic loss of a friend, a spontaneous act of protection, or the raw emotion of a retiree, these moments remind fans and wrestlers alike that, beneath the colourful costumes and flashy moves, there are real people who feel and care deeply. These rare instances when wrestlers break character leave a lasting impression on the audience, showing that sometimes the greatest moments in wrestling are the ones that aren't scripted at all.